So I'm just taking a little bit from Heather at the moment because I'm drying her off. This is partly because I'm hoping to put the goats in kid this year, but also just because kind of toning down the cheese making for a little bit, take a bit of a rest from that, so we just don't need so much milk. So yeah, just basically relieving any tightness in the udder, kind of so it's like a kind of loose bag rather than, you know, really tight like it can be. I've been doing this since 14th of August, it's now the 1st of September, so I guess it might be able to, you know, some people might do it quicker, but I'm just doing it very gradually. So at the moment just taking about, I think today it'll be about 800 millilitres. So it won't be long.
Good morning folks, how you doing? Welcome to another farm vlog. James and Rosa at Noth Farm in northeast Scotland. Rosa and I are just taking the goats up to the north field, walking past the geese. So the geese have been in the west field in this area of silvopasture for the last few days. We've actually given them 2 grazing cells to graze through so that we can include the tree rows. So they can nibble down the grass in amongst the tree tubes, which is where we can't put the goats or the sheep. So we're just walking the goats up to their grazing. Like I said, they're going up to the north field. That's really great for them up there, lots of raspberry canes and tough grasses and pine trees to nibble on. See, they're really enjoying the rowing at the moment.
Funny that they're mostly going for the leaves, even though the berries are...
Yeah.
They do like the berries.
Yeah.
I guess they're not quite ready, but... This is really like one of the nicest parts of the day, just getting to walk the goats. Especially when we take them to the north field, just taking them on the journey around the farm. It's kind of chance to see what they're going for as well, like what they'll choose to eat really changes obviously throughout the season, but for example right now they really go for nettles. They don't seem to eat them at any other time of year. Since the nettles are seeding at the moment, they seem to go for that. I guess the seeds are meant to be quite high energy, high protein feed, so maybe that's why. But it's good to notice these things because then we can think about where we might want to kind of herd them, kind of push them through certain areas to try and help with things that some of the other animals just wouldn't go for. So it's nice to note these different things at different times of year. Whoa, that is a good
mouthful of thistle.
Yeah. Hard as nails, aren't you? Hey?
I think she's slightly regretting that. Oh, wish I hadn't done that.
So the sheep have been in the top of the west field, just above our rows of silvopasture, and they've been grazing down an area, here they are, just below our shepherd's hut, and doing a great job. But it's definitely time to move them on quite soon, and of course we can recognise that by the height of the grass, but also they're getting very vocal. Every time I come by they give a little shout out to me, and I think they're saying, come on James, move us on. Plan is we're going to move them up to the north field and put them in with the goats. We're not going to do that today. We've got to finish mucking out the byre today. And we'll take them up to the north field, with the goats, and that'll be really interesting to see how they get on with our other ruminants. So it's our last day with our volunteers, Becky and Finn. They've been fantastic, really great to have them around, and we've managed to get so much achieved while they're here. So we're going to have one last day all working together. We've got to finish mucking out the byre. If you watch last week's vlog, you'll see that we started that job, which was just yesterday for us, but in YouTube world it was a week ago. We've been mucking out the byre and inoculating that heap with effective microorganisms, which is a blend of specific bacteria and yeasts. We've paused on our wee morning micro herd at this stand of willow. Looks like the goats are deep in bamboo, but this is willow. This is a hybrid willow, which is called Chinese willow because the leaves resemble bamboo. This was a coppice that we planted a few years ago, which we haven't maintained as well, so it's gone a bit wild. Alright, so we better head down.
Yep.
Go and see what Finn and Becky are up to. Go and get them from their caravan, which is the volunteer accommodation. And yeah, get on with mucking out the byre. It was a long and quite tough day yesterday. We've got close to 16 cubic meters of material piled behind the byre. But at least we didn't have to transport it all the way over to the market garden composting area. Although we are going to do a bit of that today. It's such lovely bedding that we're pulling out of the byre that we thought we would take some material over to our regular compost heap. So we'll do that with the BCS and trailer. A lot of you have been commenting on our BCS trailer. It is a fantastic implement. And I hope to do some more specific videos on the BCS in the future.
Got this whey left over from some cheese I just made, so we thought why not add it just to boost the microbial content of this pile. Yeah.
Just found this escape chicken, so we're going to put her back in because she could definitely do some damage to our lovely pile of bokashi in there. Alright, so that's Finn and Becky over to help us. I'm gonna get the trailer backed in here so that we can do a load, or maybe two, over to the market garden composting area. Alright, that's a nice application of the goat bedding on top of our compost heap, which we have here in the market garden. So it'll be interesting to compare this compost heap with the BOKASHI heap. We've been purposely making this compost heap as close to a hot composting system as possible by stockpiling our ingredients and making sure we're layering the greens and the browns, building it up relatively quickly. Once we've added a couple more layers of greens from the market garden, we'll probably add that today when we're harvesting. We can give it a bit of a water, cover it with a blanket, a layer of straw or a tarp, let this get up to temperature and compost down. We can compare the two heaps perhaps. I think I'm going to get off this big layer of goat manure and wheat. This is the last wheelbarrow.
Yay! Yeah, no, it feels really good. I think this has felt like the most kind of cohesive effort yet to kind of make a good, lovely, well layered pile of organic matter. I think the stuff that came out the bottom was really worth kind of raking and scraping because it's really lovely stuff. We were saying you could almost probably already just put that on a bed, but it will really add to the BOKASHI, I think. So yeah, we'll try and get this one on top. It's quite heavy.
Alright, that's great. That's the last few wheelbarrows on. Great effort. Fantastic to have this done. Really excited to see how this transforms over the months. So the next step is we're going to just pad down the sides a little bit just to secure the walls of the heap. And then we've got to try and cover it with the plastic sheeting because we want to get the air out for an anaerobic situation to occur. So we'll probably have to find another silage sheet somewhere and get that on. We've also got to go and get a straw bale and we're going to roll that in to the byre and just give a nice layer of bedding for the goats to come into tonight.
Just filling up the last wheelbarrow.
It's been a
So
long-
many wheelbarrows.
It's been a long day, a long 2 days of wheelbarrowing. Filling up the last.
Watering can
Yeah.
with a kind of EM mix, effective microorganism mix. And I'm gonna, Oren seems to really like it. It does smell good. We've put just a thin layer of straw now onto the bare earth in the byre. I'm gonna just sprinkle on a little bit of the EM just to really inoculate the actual byre itself. By having these microbes present, it should counterbalance any of the kind of odours that come from a kind of anaerobic breakdown of the materials in the byre with different kind of microbes. So these ones will encourage a certain different type of breakdown that shouldn't release the same kind of gases and things that or odours that we currently get. So we'll see. We have done this a little bit before in the byre, but hardly any. So it'll be nice to see with a bit more of a kind of consistent effort to add these microbes in.
We've got to go and pick some vegetables now for the harvest. So our CSA veg box pick up tomorrow. So we're going to go and pick some veg now. Alright guys, gonna get on with picking these carrots. Beautiful evening for it, but we better get our skates on and get finished. So thanks so much for watching today, folks. If this is your first time to the channel, please hit subscribe. It's a great way of supporting us here at the farm. Give the video a like, say hi to us in the comments, and until next time, we'll see you soon.